Most companies today say they are data-driven, but let's be honest, data still feels out of reach. Either you have to learn complex query languages, or if you're not technical, you're still waiting for IT to build the report for you. By the time it shows up, well, the business has already moved on. Now, picture this. It's Monday morning, you are a data analyst, and your inbox is already blowing up. Your manager wants the last quarter sales. Marketing needs a breakdown by region, and the CEO, he wants it all yesterday. So you begin by opening your Power BI, you start building the reports, but before you even finish the first one, you get 3 more requests, my friend. The thing is, you're always reacting and it gets pretty frustrating. But what if there was another way? What if the decision makers in your company could just ask the data and right away the answers is there? No complex queries, no waiting around for reports and dashboard. Well, that's exactly what Microsoft Fabric Data Agent delivered. So here's the plan for today's video. First, I'll introduce Microsoft Fabric Data Agent. Then I'll walk you through the steps to create one. And finally, we'll dive into a hands-on tutorial so you can build your very first agent. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mehdi. Welcome to my channel. So, what's a Fabric Data Agent? Think of it like your own virtual data analyst. No more writing SQL, KQL, DAX query. Forget all that for a moment. You just ask your question in plain English, something like, hey, show me the top 5 products by revenue last quarter, and the agent figure it out for you. What's really going on is that the agent connects to your Fabric environment. It decides which data source to use. Could be a warehouse, a lakehouse, a semantic model, an event house, or even a mirror database. Then it builds the right query, runs it, and hands you the answer. Now, if you are actually building the agent, you can guide it through custom instruction, through prompt engineering. You can give it a few query examples. And the more you tweak it, the smarter and more accurate it gets. But here's what it gets really cool. These agents don't just stay inside Fabric. You can connect them straight into Copilot Studio so people can use them in Teams, for example. You can bring them into Azure AI Foundry to build full agentic solution, or even plug them into your own application. All right, I'm gonna walk you through the flow real quick so you know what to expect when creating a data agent in Fabric. From the creator side, the first step will be to create a new data agent by adding a new data agent item into our Fabric workspace. Step 2, we hook it up into our Fabric data sources. Basically, we tell the agent where to look. In our case, we'll connect to 3 data sources. A lakehouse with the AdventureWorks dataset. That's the operational data of our fictional bike company, AdventureWorks Cycles. A semantic model with the customer loyalty program. And an event house that's capturing real-time package deliveries. In step 3, we configure the agent. This is where the magic really happens. We give it instruction, we add some context, we may throw some example queries, and then we test and adjust until it feels right. Now that the data agent is ready, we can publish it. For the consumer side, business users or an agent orchestrator can consume it through Fabric Copilot, from Teams with Copilot Studio, or even via Azure AI Foundry. Okay, now that we got the big picture, let's actually build one together. All right, let's get started. Before we dive into building our data agent, let's make sure all the prerequisites are in place. It's a short checklist, so it won't take long. I'll provide the link below. Basically, you'll need a paid Fabric capacity, that means a F2 or higher. If you're using a trial, make sure your workspace is assigned to that capacity so all Fabric features are unlocked. So next, we need to head to our Fabric admin portal. We need to make sure Fabric Data Agent tenant settings are turned on. So without that, the agent feature simply won't appear. So to do so, you need to search for data agent, and you need to make sure that this option is enabled. Then we need to enable Copilot and other feature powered by Azure OpenAI settings. So to do so, look for Copilot, and you should see this option, and it needs to be enabled. In case your capacity's geographic region is outside the EU data boundaries or the US, you need to make sure the cross-geo processing and cross-geo storing for AR are put enabled. So just next to this option, you'll find both options here. So I'm talking about this one. It needs to be enabled, and also this one. Last thing, if your agent will connect to a Power BI semantic model, make sure the XMLA endpoint standard setting is enabled. So to do so, just look for XMLA, and you need to enable this option. Okay, let's start with the workspace I've created for this tutorial. So I have a workspace with a couple of sources we're gonna use for our agent. The first one is the Adventure Work Lakehouse. So in this source, we have customers, products, sales, and promotions of our fictional bike company Adventure Work Cycle. We have about 30 plus tables, which is a mix of facts and dimension tables. For the purpose of this tutorial, our agent will have access to 8 of them. Next up, we have another source, which is the Customer Loyalty Program. So it's a semantic model. This is all about customer loyalty tiers like Gold, Silver, Elite, you name it. So all this information is on this semantic model. And the third source we're gonna use is the package delivery events. This one is an event house. It's continuously tracking shipments and deliveries as they happen. And it's perfect to check, for example, the status of a package, if it was delivered on time or not. So this will be used for our agent to get this information. So we have a table called package tracking event with all the information about our package status. If you are wondering how to get this data to have your own workspace, so don't worry, I have put everything on a GitHub repo that I'm gonna share with you in the video description. Here we can find for each one of those sources, for example, the Adventure Works, you'll find the dataset and also the notebook to load the tables. So basically, those are Parquet files that you can load into tables. For the Customer Loyalty Program semantic model, we can have the file to import it into your workspace. And for the package delivery event, it's an export, it's a CSV export of the data, so you can have a sample data to play with. Let's get back to our Fabric workspace, and we're gonna start creating our agent. You need to go to new items. I'll just look for agent, and you should find the Fabric agent for it. I'm gonna name it Fabric Sales Support Agent 2. All right, now that the agent is created, the first step we're gonna go through is to add our 3 data sources. So the first one is our package delivery events. So I'm gonna add it one by one. All right, I'm gonna select the package tracking event table. The second source is our Customer Loyalty Program semantic model. Okay, I'm gonna add those tables. The third source is our Adventure Work Lakehouse. For this one, we are just selecting a table of interest here. With that, our agent now sees customers, products, sales, promotions, data, all we need about our customers. Let's do our first test and ask this question. For example, we ask him how many customers has elite loyalty status. So from the question, we know that he should find the answer from the customer loyalty program semantic model. And that's true. I did see that here. And what is happening under the hood is that the agent, given his data scope, will first identify the source or sources to query, will pick up the right tool to convert our question to the query language of the source. It can be SQL, DAX, or KQL. And then it converts the query response to a natural language response. And just like that, the agent translates my natural question into a DAX query, runs it, and gives me the response. As a developer, I also see the details of the query. So you can see exactly the DAX query that have been used to query our semantic model. Now, let's move on to another question. Let me ask him this question. Did the package with tracking number, I'm giving him the tracking number, arrive on time and when? So I'm asking him 2 questions in one. And let's see if it's able to identify the package delivery event data source and if it's able to respond to my question. So here I can see the details of his reasoning. He got to the response in 1 step, and I should see the KQL query as well as the response of the query that was used to formulate my response. That's all good. So those are simple questions that involves 1 single table. Let me ask him now a tougher question. So here I'm gonna ask him a question that involves multiple joins between tables, and the response should be coming from the adventure work lakehouse. So the question is Brittany Hall one of our customers? If yes, retrieve her phone, email address, and purchase history. So we see that our agent was not able to respond to our question because the information is present in different tables. The addresses, the phone numbers are scattered into those 8 tables that we selected before. And the agent was not able to do so because he doesn't know about our business. He doesn't know about the relationship of those tables. We just selected the table as they are here, but we didn't instruct the agent to understand the relationship between those elements. So we're gonna see later how we can improve the reasoning of our agent by prompt engineering. So this is really the natural go-to step to improve the behavior of our agent. And we're gonna see that in a moment. Let's see the first way we have to improve our agent reasoning and behavior. I'll ask him the question, what are the top 5 best-selling products? We see that the agent responds based on the assumption that we are interested in sales amount. So let's say now that we need to consider sales volume instead. We need to change our agent instructions, and the way of doing it is by changing the agent instruction in the setup section of the agent editor. So here we can put in all the instruction we need. So it can be instruction for the overall agent behavior, or if we have instructions specific to a data source, we can change it at the level of the data source. So in our case, we can give him this instruction. Let me put it here, the prompt. The best-selling product should be determined by sales volume, not sales amount. And now, if you go back to our agent and ask the question, the same question I'm gonna ask, and see what is the new response now. Okay, now you see that the response did change. So the response is based now on sales volume instead of sales amount. Another way to improve the agent accuracy is to feed him some query examples. Those are real SQL, KQL, or DAX queries the agent can learn from. For our case, we're gonna focus on the Adventure Walk Lakehouse. So I'm gonna go to the setup page. For this specific source, there is a section called example queries. For each one of those sources, they have their own example queries they can add at any time. And the idea here is to feed them a couple of questions to help understand the schema. So I did provide the question, just need to add the SQL query, remove the comments. And with that, we have our first example query. All right, so configuring a data agent needs some experimenting by trying different AI instructions and examples till we start seeing some acceptable results. In my case, I already did that. So I'm gonna clean things up. So all the AI instruction that we did see and all the example queries we did create. And I'm gonna import my final results from the Git repo I shared with you guys. So first thing, I'm gonna show you what final AI instruction I did find out, or at least I did use in my case. So that include a context that can influence the behavior of my agent. I also did share all sources and relationship that exist on my source. I have a couple of them for customer loyalty program. I did describe the table, the key to do the joins, and I did so for the Adventure Lakehouse and for my package delivery events. And finally, there is some business rules I want my agent to apply. So I did put everything here on these prompts. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna use it on my agent instructions. As you can see here, it supports Markdown. So let me just close that and we can see all the results are applied in this section. I could have separated the context and the instruction by source, but feel free to do so. It's better to separate them by source so it's more structured. The second thing we need also to do is to import some sample queries to use as examples. So we can bulk import different queries to our data sources. So I'm gonna start with the Adventure Walk Lakehouse. We can import JSON for my Adventure Walk list of questions. So I can see I have 2 questions here, 2 example queries that will help our agent better reason and improve his accuracy. I'm gonna do the same for my package delivery event source. So let me import my JSON. I'm asking a couple of questions and also providing the KQL query that goes with the question. Okay, now let's get back to the question. Remember, our agent was not able to respond to. So let me move into my testing section, close everything here. I also copy my question. And the question is Brittany Hall one of our customers? If yes, retrieve her phone, email, address, and purchase history. So this question involved multiple joins. The agent had to know, understand the relationship between the table, the sources. To respond to this question, I had to update my agent instruction to describe the links and the relationship between the tables. Let's see now if the agent is able to respond to our question. Okay, good. Our agent is able to respond to our question. Yes, indeed, Brittany Hall is one of our customers. The agent also bring in the contact information, the phone number, the email, the address, and we can also see the final query. This is a multi-joint query that brings together all the information we did see on the agent response. Okay, that's all fine. And we can now move on into the final section, which is publishing our agent. Okay, let's now publish the agent. I'm gonna go to the publish section. And here we see that he is asking us a description of purpose and capabilities of this agent. I could write it here, but let's see if he is capable of generating his own description. Can you describe your purpose and capabilities? He's literally writing his own description for us. So how cool is that? So I'm gonna take these core capabilities and how it works. Let's say I'm satisfied with that. And I'm go back to the publish, and I'm giving that as the description, purpose, and capabilities of my agent. And we publish. Now we can go into the publish in detail and see what information we have about our agent. So our agent have a link. So this is useful to programmatically connect to it from outside Microsoft Fabric. And also we can change the description of our agent at any time. That marks the end of our tutorial. Our agent is live and ready. You can switch to the published version of my agent. He has access to multiple data sources, speak our business language, and answer questions like a pro. So next time your CEO asks you about the last quarter's number, you don't stress, my friend. You just say, ask the agent. If that was helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.